I'm just gonna have to do it like this because it's gonna be like not great, but at least we got the mic. So it's not great, but the mic. So all right, I'm gonna tell them we're ready. All right, let me tell them we're ready.
I'll work on the next two, like Drew on and like it's like a
So you can open up the.
I might actually start yeah, don't be getting no fights. I really go there
So I'm gonna introduce you and then you come up and okay, I'm gonna introduce you first. I'm gonna introduce you. It's not packed yet. Good morning. All right, can everybody hear me? Yes, great. Okay. Good morning.
It's good to see those of you who did get up early. So we are happy that you came. So we actually are going to start with some music, some hip hop music played by one of our own students. She is a violinist. So I think many of us are used to hearing hip hop through a certain medium. So I'm actually excited to hear it through a violinist. So her name is Tahirah. She's a student here, and she's a classically trained violinist. Her specialty is learning and performing new song requests from different genres, like hip hop. And she enjoys and gets inspired by new ideas and expanding her network as she plays music from a genre she's never played before. And she wants us to know if anybody needs a violinist to perform their favorite song, she'd be happy to bring some amazing music to set a good atmosphere for your events. Tahirah, come on up. You're a junior. What was your major?
Music performance.
Music performance. Okay. Great. Wonderful. Wonderful. All right. You're representing Howard University very well. Congratulations.
Thank you for
You're
listening.
All right. So I also want to call up our provost, Provost Wutoh, to say a few words before we kind of continue on with the conference.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good
morning. Wasn't that wonderful? Yes. You know, I was just thinking as I was coming up about the power of music. And she played beautifully, first of all. But as the different songs were going, it made me think about where I was when that song came out, or what party I was at when we were dancing to this. And that's the power of music. Wanted to say good morning and welcome and bring greetings on behalf of Howard University. And as this event is convened to celebrate and acknowledge the 50th anniversary of hip hop, I was thinking back to when I just first started acknowledging and understanding hip hop, not just as a genre, as a cultural phenomenon, as a way of clothing, a way of being. And my family's originally from Ghana, and so I grew up in the 70s and in the 80s, and graduated from high school in 82. So in my house, we played almost every kind of music. My parents played traditional Ghanaian music, and we played high life, which is developed into what we call Afrobeat. Now my mother liked country music, and then when I started hearing this hip hop, and we had artists who would come to Salisbury, it made me think about, again, just the power of music. You could hear a song and think, man, I remember back in the day when we were doing such and such, or I remember I was in 8th grade when that song came out. And that is the importance of music in our lives. But it also highlights why it is so important that we document this also as an academic phenomenon. I want to thank Professor Clark and our faculty. I'm gonna ask if our faculty in the audience would just stand up and be acknowledged as well. Because you can think about, you think about classical music or rock and roll, and there's a history of it, and we know the artists who performed in the 1600s or in the 1700s, or as rock and roll developed in this country. It says a lot about a culture and a society as you follow the progression of the way music develops in that culture. And we have to give hip hop that same type of respect. I listened to hip hop, a lot of the artists, and I actually did not know the origins. And, I read recently that really it is this week, 50 years ago in the Bronx, DJ Kool Herc and his sister were throwing a back to school party. And that really is what is traced back as the origins, why we say 50 years ago. But if you think about the artists who perform the styles of music, incorporating different genres of music, the clothing that developed, the dancing, graffiti and art that is developed, this is really beyond the musical genre. And so I wanted to acknowledge our faculty who are pursuing this as an academic pursuit. I want to acknowledge our friends and colleagues who are here from all over the world, because this is a global phenomenon. We have colleagues here from Ghana, from South Africa. I've met artists from Brazil and from Asia. So I just wanted to really just stop by, bring greetings on the behalf of the university, acknowledge the work that you're doing, and just know that this is a serious academic pursuit that we have to document. We have to document the history. We have to document how it has changed. We have to document how it has influenced culture, and we have to document so that folks will know 20, 40, 50 years from now, where did this come from? How did this develop, into the point that it is now, and how has it influenced, changed in all parts of our culture? So again, good morning, welcome. I have to excuse myself and rejoin another conference, but it's certainly good to see all of you here, particularly our students who will be the next generation that really documents and takes this forward as well. God bless.
Thank you. So I'm Dr. Clark. I'm a professor in the African Studies Department. And there's a committee of us. Yes, I don't want to miss anybody's name because it takes a village that came together. It's 2000. It was before the pandemic, 2018. I think we started 2019. Basically, really kind of doing more around hip hop at Howard. It was long overdue. There are other HBCUs that have, like Bowie has a hip hop studies minor, Virginia State, Hampton, Morgan State does stuff, has conferences, and Howard had not had a conference in years, did not have a minor. And so it took a lot of work and a lot of kind of negotiating courses. So we're hoping to be able to announce a hip hop studies minor soon. But we could not let the 50th anniversary pass without putting together a conference. So Howard University's connection to hip hop has also runs deep. So I know Howard Magazine, I think their next issue is going to focus solely on Howard's connection to hip hop. They have interviewed, I think, anybody who went to Howard, worked at Howard in any capacity who was involved with hip hop. So I think they interviewed you, Timothy, right? Yeah, Tony Black, they've interviewed anybody that they could. I don't think they've given an interview, but they've interviewed anybody that they could because of the rich history of hip hop on Howard's campus. And so really when we decided to try to put together a minor, we really felt like, well, one, again, it's, beyond time, but hip hop studies as a field of study has really grown. So one of the things that I do want to acknowledge my committee, but before I do, I was looking at my library at home, and this is just a few. So when I look at all of the books that have come out on hip hop, many of them classic textbooks on rhyming, and some of these are familiar to many of us. Many of us have read many of these books, Can't Stop, Won't Stop. These are books that have told the story of hip hop, have documented hip hop. And so we thought it was important to really have courses around that. But we also thought it was important that, like hip hop studies, a core component of that is a relationship to hip hop communities. So it's not just about the academic pursuits, it's also about making sure that whatever we do it with the community. And so we wanted to have this conference, and we didn't want it to be a bunch of academics talking to each other, but we wanted it to be a good blend of activists, artists, practitioners, and academics. So I think we, did a good job of that. So we also wanted it to be an intergenerational conversation. So there should be something for everyone. We listen to y'all and some of the stuff I don't understand. I'm like, what? Some of the artists that are going to be performing, I have no idea what you're saying and talking about, but I was told that, it's good. So I'm like, okay, it's good. There are others that I'm like excited about because it speaks to my generation. So I think that, I always say Gen X, my generation contributed the best lyricists to hip hop, but that's just what I say. So I think though that, we really wanted to not only kind of bring a minor here and have this conference, but have this conference be something that we do yearly. With a bigger committee next time, because it blood, sweat, and tears. I'm surprised we did not kill each other. We almost did a couple times. All right, so I want to acknowledge the committee. So the executive committee, and I'm going to call Benita King because it really started with Ms. King. So we have, when I call your name, just wave. Benita King, who's a program manager here at Howard. Imani, is Imani here? Oh, no. She's also, okay, so there's Imani Bonham, who's an assistant program coordinator. There's myself. There's Dr. Roger Caruth, who's an assistant professor. We also have Dwayne Matthews. Is Dwayne? Dwayne's not here. He's in the history department. Dr. Elka Stevens is not here yet. Jonathan Logan, Jonathan's not here. Junius Whitaker. Mazi is not here. He's the director of Words, Peace, and Life. Tia Tyree, who's a professor. Timothy Jones, the co-founder of the Cultural Initiative. And for those who do not know, the Cultural Initiative is the organization that brought not only the first hip hop conference to Howard, but the first hip hop conference to any academic institution. So, I mean, that's like huge. Troy White, who's a student and producer. He's over at the Warner Music Center. Is Troy?
No, they're all
working. Okay. Q Martin, is Q here? No. Okay. And Reggie, who's with the Universal Hip Hop Museum, is not here. Okay, so like I said, it started with Benita King, and Benita King is not even a hip hop head. But we would not be here if it was not for her, and her love. And I'll let her tell you the story of why we're here. But it all started with her. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you all for coming out at 0 dark 30. So I'm going off of 3 hours of sleep because we were here till 12:30 last night preparing. But as she said, I am not a hip hop head. I'm a lover of music, of the arts in general. I listen, like the Provost said, I listened to all kinds of genres of music growing up. But my son, who is also performing this evening, is a hip hop, like, I don't know if you call it a head. I don't know what that is. He's a lover, but he's also a pre-professional hip hop dancer. He's been dancing since he was 9 years old. And in 2020, when you had to decide what school you wanted to go to, I'm a Maryland alum. But I really wanted him to come to Howard, and he wanted to come to Howard, but he went to a performing arts school. And so he's always had dance in his life. And when he did his research, he realized that Howard didn't have any hip hop. And he's like, what are you talking? At first, I thought he was not doing his research right. I said, boy, go back to that computer and go look and see what you're talking about, because I don't know what you're talking about. But at Maryland, they have Maryland has 2 hip hop companies. Okay. We're talking about PWI. That's unacceptable, right? So he was like, I don't know if I want to go to Howard because they don't even have hip hop in their dance program. Like, I don't want to do this. So I said, well, honey, but it's the Mecca though. You have to go to the Mecca, and I work at the Mecca, and I ain't got to pay no money. So can you just consider the Mecca? So and of course, as he went, he was like, I do really want to go. So he came to Howard in 2020. Well, actually 2021. That's right, because it was during the COVID with all the cyber attack, the tents and all that. And he came, and I said, well, you know what? Since you took that effort, you know what? I'm gonna figure out a way that we can get some hip hop representation here. So we did our research. I got hooked up with a gentleman, Dr. Kamara. He is the one that was instrumental in hooking me up with Sia, realized that she had a course that she was teaching here, right? And this was 2019. I lied to you not. We have been working together for 4 years. So, and Dr. Tyree was also one that was an initial person that was working on the committee, and she got me connected with Dr. Caruth. So I'm only here because my son. I wanted, we did a survey, with over 1,000 students. And out of 1,000 students, the survey was over 900 that said, yes, why is there no hip hop here? Most of them wanted a major, but of course, a major comes funding. So we decided we'd do a minor and try to figure out all these courses that are currently represented. And we were so surprised at how many courses that were here that had these odd names that you didn't know that they had a hip hop in it. We're talking about spoken word. We're talking about all these things, right? So my son was like, "Oh, well, you're gonna do that. I'm gonna give it an effort." So I'm here because of the love that my son has for hip hop, the history. He taught me about it. I learned about all the elements from him because when he went to in his company, it was imperative that they learned the history of hip hop. So I didn't know about Cool Herc. I didn't know that it started to try to bring some gangs together or rival people together for peace. So it was very important to me to try to push something forward to him. Not only him, but there's others. Based on that survey, they're like, yeah, why do we have no hip hop? So since we were sold out today, that's just another representation of the fact that there's a need for it here. And not just, she talked about HBCUs, but there is so many PWIs that are monopolizing on hip hop, and it's almost upsetting to me. So, but I'm becoming a hip hop head. Y'all can see I've tried today. I tried today. So I was trying to, make sure I represented my son today so he wouldn't be totally embarrassed. And he told me that my fit was good. Is that the word? Fit? Yeah, there you go. So yes, I know I'm gonna throw him out there a little bit, but he's voice screen. He'll be dancing this evening. So I hope you guys all come out. He actually was voted into, not because of me. They voted him in, the committee. I did not vote. So I hope you enjoy the conference. Like she said, I'm impressed. I want to go to some panels, discussions, just to learn a little bit more. So I thank you all for coming out here. I thank you for all that you're giving of your time, also of your expertise, your education, and you youth, take advantage of this. And this is only the beginning. So thank you.
All right, so let me get to some specifics. One, we definitely want to encourage you to participate. For panelists, I know sometimes you go to a conference, you go to your presentation, and then you out. We want people to network. There's a student lounge. People can kind of go in there, chill, relax, get on your laptop, talk to each other. And putting panels together for people who submitted abstracts, there were, in my mind, I'm like, this person needs to meet that person. So we're going to put them on the same panel. Their papers may not exactly match, but they need to meet each other. So I'm actually happy, even though Emil and Manny, they're not on the same panel, but I'm like, yay, they're talking. So just really wanting people who are really just great people to kind of be in the same space. I'm so happy to see you here, Geneva, because I told so many people about your work. So network with each other, kind of look at what people's papers are about. There are panels that are two types of panels. There are panels where people are presenting papers, and there are panels where organizations are doing kind of more interactive stuff. So in the first session, we have like one of each. So the Cultural Initiative, the group that did the first conference in '91, is doing one of the first panels. So definitely for students, honestly, this conference was put on by faculty and students. And I will say that there was kind of a power imbalance because we had veto power over a lot of stuff, but the '91 conference was students. It was student run. So if you want to do a conference without us, perhaps engaging with them, your fellow Bison. We also have a panel on women and representation in hip hop. So really kind of looking at women and representation in hip hop and kind of, how we've experienced hip hop. It's interesting. Everybody has been doing interviews lately with anyone who has anything to do with hip hop. And just as a side note, one of the questions I've gotten asked is, what was it like in the early days when, women weren't really rapping? I'm like, how old do you think I am? I'm like, no. I wasn't there in the 70s and 73. I wasn't a teenager. I wasn't born in 73. So, just saying. But yeah, so it's important to have a conversation because there weren't a lot of women that were out. So I do want to, because I actually was about to forget, I do want to call up some of our partners. I know everybody is not here, but some of you are here. So I do want to give opportunities to some of our partners because I think some of them have some really important things to say. Reggie is not here. Q is not here. Maz is not here. Timothy. So one of the individuals I was speaking about from the Cultural Initiative, who was also really crucial to the committee. So I hand the mic to you.
Good morning. How you doing? Good morning, everybody. This is hip hop. Good morning, everybody. And before I even say something, Emil, South Africa, hip hop and spaces, my brother. Okay, power connection. My name is Timothy Jones, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, class of 1991, and I am having all types of feelings actually being in this room. This is the room that was ground zero for planning the student takeover in 1989, which was the segue to April Silva and Raz Baraka becoming Houston president and vice president in 91. And the hip hop conference was kind of our capstone project. I am also a project manager in the Chadwick A. Boseman College of Fine Arts. So it was great to see the sis representing. And this is, sometimes people will say, oh, this is a dream come true. This was actually even beyond our dreams, because to your point, when we did the first conference, it was so student-led, and it was so before people even equated hip-hop and education together and hip-hop and scholarship together, that what you are living in today would have been considered an oxymoron. Like, if I can really keep it 100, we were told to take the term hip-hop off of our conference and call it African American, because that would be more palatable to sponsors. And this is in the 90s. And so just to see how far we've come and how much further there is for us to go. And I definitely want to shout out Junius and Jonathan, because those brothers hit with the research and made this job much more enjoyable than it would have been if I was going through the digital archives by myself. But one of the things that I hold dear is that even though we're a little late in the curve, but Howard has something that no other university on the planet can have. That we truly can create a hip hop at Howard archive. Harvard has the hip hop archives, and Cornell, they have their thing, and all the PWIs and even the buoys, but no university has its own canon of hip hop history on its soil like Howard. None. There's this project that started in Denmark called the Human Library. And so all of those books that got pulled out, what we were doing predates all of those books. And there's so many of us that are still walking around. So it is my hope and prayer that people will engage and not get caught up in sometimes the semantics of position and really push past that. And so, but it really is for you as young people, for us as elders, to really come together in a meaningful way. And the last thing I'll say, whatever you are doing, document it. Because that was something that we honestly, we weren't taught, like, to document everything. So, the reality is, like, you have AD and BC. The truth of the matter is the conference happened pre-Google. So if you go there, it doesn't exist. And we are conditioned to believe if I can't find it on Google, it didn't happen. And so we find ourselves arguing, like, no, we did a conference that went from 91 to actually spring 97. And it's like, now you got to be able, and thank God they digitized the hilltop, because otherwise it's been like, if I can't find it on my phone, it didn't happen. And so just excited to be here and really looking forward to engaging. Hopefully the rain holds off and we can rock out at the block party later. But definitely just excited and honored to be home. Like, it's one thing to celebrate hip hop, but to be able to celebrate hip hop at home is something that is most meaningful. So God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you for that great reminder. Because of the rain, we're doing the block party in the Ira Aldridge Theater. Thank you for that reminder.
Okay.
Yeah, we were like, because we can't, because we really like, we need to, because if it did, so we just decided to just go to plan B. So we're gonna be there. So the other couple housekeeping notes. So for panelists in terms of tech, if you have some questions or if there's some like tech things happening, you can, ask myself. Lakita, could you raise your hand? She's also here to help with tech issues. So there should be an HDMI plug into the monitor in each of the rooms. So you can use that to plug into your computer. We also have extension cords because I think some of the outlets may be, a little bit weird to get to. So if you need an extension cord, let us know that as well. We will be having in 104, which is all the way down and then to the left. We're going to put up boards where you can come in and like kind of do a tag, write your name. So we're going to have like an art board where people can do that. And I don't know if I'm missing anything. All right. So Angela. She's not here. Okay. Do you have the flowers or no? Okay. All right. No. Okay. Come. Yeah.
How you doing? Good morning, everybody. My name is Caleb Cummings, also go by C3, but I'm the administrative coordinator in the Warner Center at the School of Business. And we just wanted to give you all a warm welcome this morning, you feel me? We help volunteer for the event, so we're here to support you. And we appreciate everybody coming here, spending your time, giving us your knowledge, everything. We just appreciate y'all being here. And we're here to have a good time. It's the 50th birthday of hip hop, you feel me? So look, I appreciate y'all being here. Y'all lock in for the panels. I know y'all ready to go out and get some information. So just keep your minds open, be ready to learn and have fun, you feel me? And have a great day. We appreciate y'all.
The Warner Center in the business school, if you have not gone by there as a student, you should definitely go by there. It is also run by an alum who was also here during the conferences, Jasmine Young, who's going to be speaking. She's got years of experience in the industry. So a lot of the people who are going to be speaking are HU alum. So, definitely networking with fellow Bison is always a good idea, internship opportunities and such. Okay, so I don't know if there's anything, is he on the way, like in the hall? HU?
You know.
Even my son who's 11 knows that he's, yes, hopefully, now it's like hard to get in the house, man. I'm like, study hard. Because you gotta get it. Reggie, okay. So I'm gonna call up Reggie Peters, who is at the Universal Hip Hop Museum in the Bronx.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for coming out. As they said, my name is Reggie Peters from the Universal Hip Hop Museum located in the Bronx. And we're celebrating 50 years of history. So there's a lot of storytelling that's taking place about the entire 50-year journey. So we're building a 53,000 square foot space in the Bronx, in the South Bronx, in the birthplace of hip hop, where we will tell all of these amazing stories about people, places, and things. and all of the above. So right now we have a temporary space in New York City that we're operating, and we're showing different elements of the culture in increments. So 2 years ago, we started with the origins of hip hop, which was the stories of Grandmaster Flash and Africa Bambaataa and the local park jams in the Bronx and all of the things that were happening before the first hip hop records were recorded. So that's the time period from like 1973 to 1979. That's the very incubator period of hip hop. That's how we have this 50th anniversary based on August 11th, 1973. So then we moved to the 1980s where you had the first records recorded, records like Rapper's Delight and some of the local records from groups like Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, the Treacherous Three, Spoonie G, local artists in the New York area that were on small independent record companies. And the big explosion came with Rapper's Delight, a group from New Jersey, the Sugar Hill Gang, which really put hip hop in the forefront and in the mainstream and on commercial radio all over the world. So we talk about that period. And then now what we're doing now, we're talking about the period, the golden era of hip hop, where hip hop got its consciousness, where hip hop got its Afrocentricity, where it's got its diversity. People like Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, EPMD, Beastie Boys, the era from 1980 to 1985, where MTV started to play a role and started sending videos around the world and across the country and to other areas. So the culture started to leave just America per se and really go abroad and start to really spread its wings out there. Now, from 1973 to 1985, the period that we covered so far, there was a very important role that the United States military played. Because what was happening was, particularly in the 1970s, before there was rap recordings, there was mixtapes, there was cassette tapes of the park jams, right? So who was the first people to move that around the world? High school students were leaving New York City, joining the military. They were being stationed in bases all around the country and all over the world. They was bringing these recordings with them. And then the next thing you know, you had DJs and MCs on army bases, military bases in Okinawa, Japan, all over Europe, all over the world, spreading the culture abroad before it even finished spreading from New York City all the way to California. So it was like moving in two directions. It was moving overseas through people that were joining the military. It was moving throughout the country from people that was going to college campuses and people that were migrating through the military back here in America. So I say all of that to say that there was a lot of international movement early on in the culture prior to the rap record being recorded and prior to it really commercializing in the United States. So it was moving in two directions. Another thing I wanted to point out about the golden era of hip hop, the 1980 to 1985 exhibit that we're running, it really shows the diversity in the art form. It wasn't monolithic at this point. No two artists were the same, and no two sounds were the same, and it wasn't so rap-centered. The culture itself was the centerpiece. So you had graffiti writers emerging, you had break dancers emerging, you had DJs still emerging around the world. It wasn't this commercialized, packaged rap artists kind of situation where it was just the rap artists in the forefront. In the 1980s and in the 1970s, it was a little more unified and everyone got a chance to express themselves and show their creativity because it was all new. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you look at the industry, the music industry per se, right? You see how the rapper is the focus, right? The dancers are in the background. You might still see a DJ, a part of the group, maybe, maybe not, right? So in the beginning, that wasn't the case. In the 1970s, the featured artist was the DJ. He was the most important person because he played the records, he manipulated the records and had all of the technology and all of the tricks of the trade to make what we know as hip hop music. The rapper or the MC was the added bonus. It was just like someone to do call and response, shout outs, maybe say his girlfriend's name or where he's from. So he wasn't the focal point of the performance. It was the DJ. Then you get the term breakbeat, the actual part of the record that the DJ manipulates, right? So now the breakbeat is what put the dancer in the forefront. So in the 1980s, you had a lot of b-boys and poppers and lockers and breakers and b-girls. They were the forefront of the show because it was based on the DJ who was the star, playing the break beat, giving the breaker an opportunity to break. So the MC was like the last of the celebrities to be born. But because it was the easiest to sell commercially, it kind of took the forefront of the culture and everything else was put on the back burner. So what we're doing at the Universal Hip Hop Museum, we're balancing those stories. We're making sure that every element of the culture is recognized and fully serviced. So that way we don't think that hip hop itself is just something that's rap centric. Does that make sense? That's all I got. Is there any questions? Thank you.
All right, so our last speaker is Kyler Gilkey. He's a legislative aide for Congresswoman Sydney Dove from California. And so he's going to talk about some hip hop legislation that's coming up in Congress.
What's your name?
See you.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How are y'all doing?
Great.
Yeah, I got an early start over here at Howard. My name is Kyler Gilkey, as Sia already said. I am the legislative aide for Congresswoman Sydney Dove, representing California's 37th congressional district, which encompasses a little bit of LA. And so this year we decided to do some legislation surrounding the 50th anniversary of hip hop. And what that entails is a resolution that basically recognizes the accomplishments of hip hop, the impact it has had on, the communities like LA, like Memphis, where I'm from, New York City, and see how we can bring together other offices, other members of Congress to support this legislation and make sure that we really, give hip hop the celebration it deserves. And so as I was doing the initial draft for the bill, I was trying to think about what does hip hop really mean? And then I came to the conclusion that, hip hop has this ability to really encompass wherever it comes from, So it started out in New York, and those folks up there, talked about their struggle. They talked about living in the projects. They talked about, wanting to get out of the projects and have fun and, do certain things. And then, like I said, where I'm from in Memphis, you have a whole different side of hip hop. You have the gangster rap and Project Pat and the Gangsta Boo and all those type of people who came out Memphis. And, Memphis is, excuse me, I don't know, we had Howard and DC and all that kind of stuff. Memphis is the best rap scene going on right now. We got some of everybody coming out. You got Dolph, you got Gotti, you got NLE, you got Glorilla and all those type of people who are coming out now. But you sitting here shaking your head. What you got to say, man? But yeah, so Memphis is doing this thing right now. And so I really wanted to encompass that. And the Congresswoman really felt the need to make sure that we incorporated everybody. So as we were kind of circulating this idea of this legislation around to other offices, of course, everybody from every city, from every congressional district was trying to put their people in there. You know what I'm saying? So we talked to some Chicago offices and they were like, well, you got to put Nelly in there. You got to put this person, that person. We had to put in a section about New Orleans bounce and all that kind of stuff. So this bill, this resolution really encompasses every part of hip hop that we could possibly think of and possibly put on paper. Because I literally had to tell people, look, this can't be just a list of names of people in your city, that you want to have highlighted. Because we can do that all day long, and this resolution will be 200 pages long. And so it was really a team effort. Our fearless leader, Hakeem Jeffries, is a big supporter of this resolution, which he doesn't do often towards bills and resolutions, as he is the leader. He's supposed to be
more higher up, and he doesn't get in the weeds of co-sponsoring a bunch of legislation. But he decided to co-sponsor this particular resolution as his 16th bill that he has co-sponsored. And most members of Congress, as we're 6 months in now, have co-sponsored 200, 300 pieces of legislation and things like that now. But like I said, as the leader, he has to kind of, play a certain role. And so this is his 16th piece of legislation that he has co-sponsored, which is no big feat to get Leader Jeffries on a bill. And so we have 30 plus other co-sponsors on the bill as well. And that is growing every single day as I'm reaching out and saying, we already introduced this a couple weeks ago. Why weren't you on it in the first place? And so the Congresswoman, like I said, really wanted to make sure that we celebrate hip hop and everything that it's accomplished. In the bill, in the resolution, we talk about, hip hop's ability to generate Black wealth. And think of how many artists have come through hip hop over the years, and they have become the primary breadwinners for their families. And how they have given back to the community. I will keep mentioning that I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and so Young Dolph is a prime example of that. Young Dolph came in, he got his fame, he got his success, but he made sure that he gave back to his community every single time he had the chance to. He literally died giving back to his community, at a cookie shop, and they have very delicious cookies. So I see why he was there, and so. Things like that, we're able to kind of see how hip hop has transpired and how hip hop has influenced, not only the Black community, but the entire world. This world wouldn't be where it is without hip hop. And I truly believe that. So 50 years, we are celebrating hip hop. There's a bunch of stuff going on this week as you guys are doing. So I was very excited when Roger, told me that he was, or Professor Roger, sorry, that he was, doing this and wanted me to be a part, and I, jumped on the chance and had to check in with the boss and make sure that it was good. But yeah, hip hop has been, a great thing for, like I said, not only just our community, but the entire country and the entire world. My dad is a musician, he's a producer. So I grew up, in studios with Project Pat and, 3-6 Mafia and those types of people. So that kind of stuff is in my blood. And I remember, him being in the studio late nights or whatever, just sitting vibing, trying to, get this beat right or whatever. And I'd be sitting there right there with him and soaking it all up. And so I eventually became a musician when I was in high school and in college and everything. So I just want to say thank you, hip hop. Hip hop has definitely been an aspect of my life where I don't know, it helps. It helps. You hear the struggle, you hear your own experiences through words, through lyrics, through people's emotions, when they put out in their music. And regardless of what our friends on the other side of the aisle want to say, hip hop has a lot of good and has a lot of impact, especially in our culture. And so we really wanted to do this resolution and build a legislative coalition around hip hop. And like I said, Leader Jeffries has always been a big proponent of that. He quotes Biggie all the time. And so I guess that's the New York in him. But we have a lot of support from our colleagues on the Hill. We really want to make sure that we celebrate hip hop this year and moving forward. Rep. Bowman and Senator Schumer have also introduced a similar resolution on the Senate side that basically encompasses Hip Hop Day, on the 11th, and then Hip Hop Month, which is in November. And so, two kind of separate things, but my boss was like, well, they can do that. I'm doing something for the 50th. And so that's exactly what we did. And we have a lot of support from it. And yeah, there's a lot of things going on for, if you're familiar with ALC, which is the CBC Annual Legislative Conference. There are a bunch of events going on around, celebrating hip hop around that time. There are even a few panels that will be taking place during that week at the convention center, centering on, hip hop and politics and how, those coincide. We have a hip hop politician right now who's going to be the next Speaker of the House next Congress. So thank you, hip hop. Thank all of you for having me here. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, and I appreciate you all having me. And if you have any questions or anything like that about the bill, happy to answer those. But would love to stay in contact with you all. If you ever need anything on the Hill, please let me know. So, thank you all.
Thank you. Roger, you got anyone? Roger, did you want to say anything? I mean, Roger's been like really helpful in dealing with all the industry people. This is like a foreign language to me, so he's been very helpful with that.
All right. Good morning, everybody. How you guys doing? Good morning. Not going to take up too much of your time, but I'm glad to be here. Glad that you guys took the time to come out. I think it's the beginning of something that we could do annually that'll grow, as Dr. Clark and Provost says. We get the minor on the way. The long-term goal is to make it a major. So, it starts, one journey starts with a step, and I think this is a step in that direction. So absolutely glad to be a part of it, glad to be here, working with Dr. Clark, Ms. King, and Monty, and just the executive committee to help put this together. So happy to be able to do my part. Everything's come full circle. I got to shout out Dr. Tyree, who is one of my colleagues now, but she was my dissertation advisor, and she was all things hip hop. She's written about superwomen hip hop heroes, and office is an archive and curated spaces for hip hop. She's speaking today, and she's been a part of my matriculation and process at Howard. I graduated in 2013, my PhD in communication. So for us to come together with COAS to put this together and try to make it a reality, and this is, again, a first step in that direction. So we have good people who decided to come out, participate, and contribute. As I said, hip hop is very personal to most people, right? Subjective, based on your era, where you're from. I mean, you can go down the list in terms of what it means to you. So, and it's ongoing, it's monolithic. It speaks to us as a community of folks and how we connect and bridge and work with each other. So hopefully we can continue to do that. And again, this is a step in that direction. So looking forward for a great day of dialogue, community, and hopefully we can take this information back to our circles and continue to lean on Howard to be that pillar, and that will pull people together on some initiatives like this. So thank you once again, and look forward to a great 2 days.
Thank you. All right, so we are like ahead of time, which is really good. So the first set of panels starts at 10:15 in almost 30 minutes. So, I have said that, I want to encourage people to network. So perhaps we kind of use that as a opportunity to network. I don't know, for 30 minutes, can we do a quick introduction, like people, like a quick kind of round? I don't know, man. Hip hop people like to, like, I did a song with so-and-so and and I got this many albums. So I don't know if we can do it in 30. We'll try just quickly, your name, where you from, and like factor. We'll start up here with the students. Yeah.
I got that up.
I mean, let me see. I don't know. Let me see.
I'm not shot. I ain't know. My name is Monty Preston, and I'm from Chicago.
Freshman?
Yeah, I'm my first couple days here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Welcome to Howard. Welcome to HU.
My name is Marcel Jones. I'm an African American studies major, and I'm a freshman.
All right.
My name is Terrell Pressey. I'm a business finance major. I'm a freshman.
All right. Welcome to Howard.
So my name is Tahirah Fennell. I am a junior, and I'm a music performance major from PG County, Maryland.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Geneva Green. I'm a third-year PhD student in Communication, Culture, and Media Studies, and I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Byron L. Williams. I am a hip-hop enthusiast and fan. Live here in D.C. Just want to come on out. One interesting fact, I still remember the first hip-hop tape that I got as a 7-year-old, and it was a single of Diddy by Paperboy and a tape of Cypress Hill cassette. I still got them both.
My name is Matthias Taylor. I'm a freshman English major.
From
California.
Good morning, y'all. My name is Charles Warner. I'm a professor at Disciplinary Studies at Coastal Carolina University from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I'm going to be presenting on the social justice panel tomorrow. This is my first time at Howard. I'm excited to be here.
My name is Veronica Fernandez Serrano. I am a reporter with diverse issues in higher education, and I'm from Portland, Oregon.
My name is Eric Nelson. I'm a public school educator from Atlanta, Georgia, lover of the culture and father of Wayne Matthews.
I'm Olivia Rouse. I'm a freshman. I'm a psychology major, and I'm from California.
So Tia Tyree, professor in the School of Communications from Baltimore, Maryland, and celebrating my birthday 50th. Good.
Graduate of Howard's history program, 2023 graduate of Howard's master's history program, and now I've started my doctorate in Howard studies with Dr. Mark. Hi everyone, I'm Amate Lai from Ghana, and I'm getting my PhD in Howard studies.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dawn Gaither. I'm a proud alum of Howard University, also a proud New Yorker. And I was there during the incubation period where we were centered on the DJs, looking at the DJs, worshiping the DJs. I'm proud to be here.
Good morning, I'm Bill Steffing, panelist from New Jersey.
camera person's behind camera. You all, you know.
Sorry. Hi, everyone. My name is Takaya Williams. I'm a recent Howard University graduate from the School of Communication. I'm also the co-PS. I'm a public school educator from BG County.
All right, how you doing? My name is Todd Fleming. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and I'm co-founder of Rappers AI. The session is going down today at 2:30 for me. Right now.
I am also a co-founder of Rap vs. AI. My name is Cynthia Restford. I came from Texas, but I'm also from Detroit, Michigan, and love hip hop. But the session is going down at 2:30. Please join us. You don't want to miss it. It's the AI human versus machine rap battle.
Tyler Gilby again. I'm the resident of
Greetings and good morning, everyone. My name is Gianna Jones. I am able from Tallahassee, Florida. I am an assistant professor at Flutist University of Occupation here. I am a panelist in women and representation.
Hi everybody, I'm Leo from Cape Town, South Africa. I'm Provost of Wutoh, and I run an organization that implements population at 15 schools in Cape Town. It's called Human Project.
Good morning. My name is Randy Faces. I'm the founding director of the Center for Hip Hop Advocacy, creative host of a podcast called Hip Hop Can Save America. And I'm a loudmouth New Yorker that did what New Yorkers do and moved to Atlanta. So I'm moderating a panel here today and then speaking on giving a presentation tomorrow. And I'm truly honored to be here.
My name is Danny. I'm a music enthusiast and DC editor.
Good morning, my name is Malcolm McField. I'm a DJ, producer, and studio owner of recording studio, Soundscape.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Prima Wood, part of the planning team for the Listen Here panel at 2:30. It'll be a really interesting time to talk about our mental wellness and how hip hop has impacted that. So we'd love to see you all there. Also, fellow New Yorker from Yonkers and the Bronx, and My claim to fame is being able to listen to DMX's first single the year before it came out. My brother was part of that coming up book with our friends. So,
Dr. Stevens. Good morning, everyone. My name is Elvis Stevens. I'm a faculty member at Howard University. I'm coordinating the National Design Program. I'm a member of the Planning Committee for this conference. I'm also a moderator for a panel tomorrow on spirit spirituality, religion, and hip-hop. And that's the religion.
Hello, everyone. I'm Christy Jones, full-time student at Georgia State University, PhD student, presenting tomorrow in our session with.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Latasha. I'm a special education teacher and a student at Johns Hopkins right now. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, Bayside. All right. I've been over there. I'm here to support my wonderful husband, Mohammed Kawa, and I'm also a music lover at Iggy Hustle.
I'm a cowboy. PhD student, African Studies, PhD, and I'll be presenting along with Southern hip hop and spirituality.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alessandra Daniels, also by Southern. I'm from Washington, D.C., so it's good to be back home. I'm a second-year PhD student in dual degree programs in the German Studies Department between UNC Chapel Hill and Duke University. I'm presenting tomorrow on the Black Consciousness panel about the African identity.
Hi everyone, my name is Paige Chung. I'm a DJ from Jones Institute of Sound in Southern California, and I'm also a PhD student at Wutoh University. And my first hip hop album was Wutoh University. How do you?
Okay, Rebecca Portis, professor at Montgomery College, and a PhD student at the Studies Department here. I got my first boombox when I was 9, and we were playing Grandmaster Flutters at that time. And now he is from University City, Missouri, where I grew up, and we laughed at him as he tried to rap on the playground.
Good morning, everyone. I'm April Silver, proud of a young native New Yorker, former piece of president here, former head of Black Media Force as well, and the founding president of the Cultural Initiative, which I hope you know moving forward is the original first hip hop conference that was founded in 1991. And currently teaching hip hop and social justice at SUNY Provost here in
Timothy Jones, Brooklyn, New York, Cultural Initiative, and also the Chief Visionary Officer for Hip Hop Ed. So all my Hip Hop Ed family, salute.
What's up, everybody? I'm Corey Miles. I'm an assistant professor in African Studies and Sociology at Tulane University. My book is coming out by University of Mississippi Press. It's about trap music, which is what we'll be talking about tomorrow in the social justice panel, where we essentially try to think through, can songs about guns, drugs, hustling, can those songs be beautiful and give us a reinterpretation of what beauty and art can feel like.
I'm Isaiah. I'm a rising junior at Tulane University studying psychology and African studies, and I'm going to be presenting on the hip hop and social justice panel tomorrow.
Well, I came in just in time. Good morning, everyone. My name is Michelle Hadley. I am with the Cultural Mission. I'll be on 11, speaking about the first hip hop conference here at Howard University. I am many things, but I would say educator. I was associate professor for computer science at Ohio State University. I'm a computer engineer, and right now I run STEM programs nationally for American Association of University Women, which is the oldest advocacy organization for women in university.
Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing well. My name is Leon Fortress. I'm a
proud of alum of Howard University. I graduated in 2019 from the College of Arts and Sciences. It was here to take video, but I do a lot of things, but it's good to be here. I love hip hop, so it's a pleasure to be a part of this. I'm excited to capture all the great panelists and the great conversation we can have with this week.
All right. I hear the clock tower. They're telling us it's 10, so we did perfect. Panels, this is supposed to end at 10, and it's 10. So we've got 15 minutes before the next set of panels. So that gives those individuals time to set up and you time to get a drink of water, go to the restroom, what have you. The restrooms are down this hall here. There are also some on the second floor down that hall. They renovated this place. I'm like, sometimes I'm trying to get my orientation straight. But again, if you need anybody with any help, some of the volunteer tag can help you. All right, have a good time. Network.